When you start to measuring risk in your organization or maturing your program, you find two challenges that is typical on any risk measurement program. First, you have key risk measures that you will have data for it. Those are what we call aspirational measurements. Second, you have medium to low metrics or measures that does not completely address the risk you're trying to measure. Well, first of all, aspirational metrics and having metrics that you don't have data for it yet is no reason not to measure. For example, we discussed here in the past that you would like to measure the percentage of critical assets in your organization. For that, you need two data points at least. One is total asset count on your organization. Two, the total asset count that are critical on your organization, hence getting your percentage of critical asset. However, at this point, you might not have those data points. You might not know the total asset count on your organization or not know how many of those assets are critical to your organization. But that's fine. That's when the second part comes in. You start having these additional measurement, low-level measurements that will build up and mature over time to the goal you're trying to achieve, that aspirational goal. So you start putting projects together on trying to address the total asset count on your organization. So every project from business unit to business unit or project to project or a massive undertaking on identifying every single asset in your organization could take whatever you want to take, whatever approach you want to take to get that number. And then another effort later on or parallel would be to identify critical assets in your organization. And I gave here an example what would be critical assets in your organization. Those that support the mission, vision, and services that you provide to your clients, customers, shareholders, and so forth. Those, once you identify those are your critical assets. Having these two numbers will be able to provide that aspirational metric measure that you want to begin with. So you have to trust your program to mature over time. That is just fine, but you need to set those lower level goals. Now you have to pay attention. You can measure anything, but be very careful. That measurement has to build up to, at the end of the day, measuring the risk to the organization. Measure for the sake of measuring. You will just tire your staff and take time away from operational duties just to do a measurement that will not build up from a strategic perspective to see what risks your organizations are facing right now or how much at risk your organization may be. So, recapping, there's two types of challenges you will face when you're building your measurement program, and that is fine. You need to mature to that level. First is the aspirational goals. You have a top key risk that you're trying to measure, but you lack data. The second, you have the data, but the data does not amount to anything yet to measure a particular risk. But over time, you mature to that.